Hey guys, welcome to another episode of You're Not Alone, a documentary series on depression, going through it and overcoming it. Uh, been a little bit, been a couple weeks, I would say. We are slowly getting used to and getting acquainted with the new year, 2020. It's been pretty interesting so far. Um, hope all is well, obviously. Uh, I have been having some sort of revelation of sorts, and I'm realizing that I'm doing a lot of things wrong, and it made me really depressed, and I've been getting better actually this week. But ever since New Year's, been kind of slowly falling into this slump. Uh, it It really got worse when I tried to help out a couple friends, helping them kind of deal with their own problems. And because how my mind works now, I'm not a very good person giving advice to. Um, I I've been told that, and it's really, 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 really rough when your anxious thoughts, your self doubt, the voice in your head that's telling you that like you're not doing a good job or whatever actually turns out to be true. When other people start telling you that like, hey, like you're not doing a good job. Um, it's even more so when like you they don't tell you what what they need, right? And so you try to help as best as you can, either by listening or trying to help them find a solution. Um, and then you get told, that like I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying because it just felt like you were rambling on, and that's really fucking brutal. Um, it hurt me a lot, and I actually I kind of broke my streak. I was like really good, really, really good. And then that happened. And then all of a sudden, that self doubt started coming back. And, before we point fingers at anyone, um, I think we were both in the right and we were both in the wrong. Um, Obviously, how I give advice is that, and I guess how it comes off to people is that like I feel like it feels like, and I've been told this, that I kind of take whatever problem they're having and somehow make it about me. And what I mean by that is that I try to relate it to one of my problems that I've dealt with or am currently experiencing. While I'm not like saying that like, I'm not disregarding their issues, saying like, oh, you're having this problem, well, like I've dealt with that like a couple months ago and you just have to get over. No, I just, how I try to help people is that I try to give examples about, because most of the time people they feel alone in their problem and they just need someone to talk to, right? Someone they can relate to. And I guess I try a little bit too hard on trying to make it seem relatable, to the point where I guess it seems like I'm kind of like not validating their experience. Um, and it's really ironic because that's exactly what my dad did to me. Um, Except he did it a lot more harsher than I did. I don't tell people to get over their problems, because obviously, if we could all just get over our problems, then this video series wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have mental health issues that we do today, that we have today in society. There would be no depression. There wouldn't be a lot of fucking things. Psychology would basically be fucking worthless if like we could just say like, oh, I'm over it because I just been told to get over it. Like that's not fucking good advice. Nor should it be acceptable advice, or acceptable in any case when someone's opening up to you. But that's besides the point. I try to make it relatable. Try is the key word. Um, I guess I do it a bit too much. And how my brain works now, because I've been on Adderall, is that, like, once you're on Adderall with the recommended dosage, like, you just go. My mind is basically like a fucking, like, machine. The gears are turning. Before Adderall, I was very quiet. I wasn't talking that much. Very soft. Kept to myself. I was very slow in reaction time and thoughts. And I couldn't form coherent sentences. I still kind of deal with that. Whenever I'm put on the spot, I kind of need time to think. But once I start thinking, and once I'm caught up with everything, and I process whatever I'm supposed to answer, I am a fucking machine, and I just keep on going until someone tells me to stop. And that's kind of the problem with me, is that I'm realizing now that I think this Adderall is, well, it's doing a lot of good in the fact that, like, I feel like I'm doing stuff with my day, rather than before, where I just felt like I couldn't, like, I felt like a piece of shit before. Um, Pre Adderall, I was basically just kind of moping around, watching YouTube videos, doing nothing, not studying, not trying to prepare for, like, I'm basically did the bare minimum to live as a freeloader, which I was in my mom's. Like, I went to work whenever I was supposed to work, got home, and then I just ate a little bit, and then just stayed in my room all the time. I didn't do anything else. I just woke up. If I had work, I go to work and just kind of do a half-ass job of it. And then if I didn't have work, I just laid around all day. This time is different. And I like to think that Adderall helped a lot in the fact that, like, I still don't go outside that much, and I'm trying to fix that. But instead of just doing the bare minimum, I'm doing a little bit something further beyond. Last semester, I did a lot in the fact that, like, I got a 4.0, provided it was only 3 classes, but it's still a fucking 4.0. I tried really hard last semester, and achieving that 4.0 was probably one of the greatest highlights of my life in most recent years. Post adulthood, meaning post. When I say post adulthood, I mean basically post high school. It finally felt like I was getting my life together. But Adderall has its negative effects, and I am just a fucking social train wreck now. I used to be a great listener because, honestly, before Adderall, I didn't really have much to say. I would just sit there and just kind of listen, right? Which I guess people need to, that's all people want, is for them to listen to their problems, kind of just, like, be there. Now I try to do too much. I try to push the boundaries a little bit too much, and not, like, asking them, like, very, like, personal questions. I just try to solve, because how my brain works. Inadvertently, I don't want to solve people's problems within a day or within, like, one talk. But, like, I feel like that's how, like, my sessions go when I talk to other people. Is that like, I feel like I'm trying to rush things, and the fact that, like, I'm trying to, like, just, like, try to figure out a solution right then and there, and just tell them, and just like, okay, that's the solution, go out and do it, and then, see you next week, kind of deal. Instead of taking the time to kind of just let them vent a little bit, let them express themselves. I always try to relate it back to me. So now you get what I'm saying. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, is that, like, it became like whatever they were thinking, and then, or feeling, and then it kind of became what I thought of the situation, and it focused more on that. And I guess, I tried to ignore it. I always probably knew that it was, like, present, and that I did that. Like honestly, I just feel like I did that, but I didn't pay it no mind because I thought it was just self doubt. I thought I was doing a very fantastic job at like doing it, and I just killed all those like thoughts of like, you know what, like self doubt, and then you get told that you're not a very good helper. This wasn't what I had in mind when I asked you to help me. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'll be completely honest, I wasn't paying attention because all you do is rant. Those words stung. And now you get to where the people that I was helping with, you get to the point where like they're at fault now. I think, provided that they were probably very emotional, so they weren't like thinking clearly because they were in emotional distress at the time. But it still fucking hurt, regardless. I'm pretty sure they meant those words. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking straight kind of deal. I'm pretty sure like they actually just like, well, see, that's where the self doubt comes in, and that's when I don't know whether or not I should ignore it or not. I don't know what to think anymore. All I know is that like I felt pretty bad after those conversations. And from then it basically just shattered the wall that I had, and that defensive measure in my mind turned from the Great Wall of China to like a fucking wet paper towel. It was that weak. And then all the negativity just swooped in. It got to the point where I actually am taking a indefinite hiatus from streaming. Streaming got really bad. Really, really fucking bad. And I will go into that now, I guess. But streaming got really, really fucking bad. To the point where I did it for fun. I did it for, interaction, just having people to talk to. Sharing a passion for stuff. And then it became a competition. And then I just wanted to outdo, like, my friends and peers around me. I started getting jealous. I started like wanting more, greedy. I started getting paranoid. I started getting angry about people not showing up. People, who like maybe like a couple months ago said that like, your streams help me, and then they don't show up for like weeks, maybe months at a time. Or maybe the promise of people saying that like, oh, I'll be there every time you stream, man, because you help. And then you see them in other people's streams. That got to me. And I know that sounds really fucking bitter, but honestly, I think this hiatus was needed. It really was needed. I was basically coming home and relying on streaming to basically just kind of de-stress myself, because one, I was playing games, but two, I was talking about people who I thought shared the same interests as me, because they watch me play. And I'm really not entertaining. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, guys. I am not entertaining. I'm a very boring person, and I don't mean to like, like you're just saying that, just like that's just negative things that you're saying about yourself. No, I am literally a boring person because I don't do anything. I'm an introvert, and I like basically talk about, I just talk about like anime and games and maybe like some like science technology stuff. Like, of course, that may be interesting to some people, but like generally speaking, not really. Like, I can't just go up to a fucking like English major or whatever and just like basically just talk about like what like functions and coding does, or like what's the difference between a function or a method, or you know what I'm saying. Like, I can't just talk about stuff that like coding to just normal people, because normal people, one, probably won't understand it, but two, they don't have an interest in it. Like, it's just such a niche. where like they don't want to learn about it. Um, but for me, it got really toxic just to just stream. And I got even, and the pressure was even more on when like I tried to take it a bit more seriously. Like I had so many revamps. Like if you go through my Discord, you will see like a bunch. You'll see like a couple posts saying that like I'm trying to reinvent my stream and trying to start over. Um, but at the end of the day, like the passion just kind of it just died. I think it really did. It really did die because I let my mentality just take over. I'm like that happens to a lot of things. I've noticed. It happened with Dota. I've had so much like I know I shit on the game a lot of times, but I have had so much fun playing Dota. I have met so many great people playing Dota. Most of my friends, my online friends that I have added on stream on Steam, sorry, was from playing Dota. I've met very good friends that I've added on Facebook, and we've added like we just talk and like we're such good friends now that we're just like comfortable, just like it really like legit feels like I've been like they've been a part of my life for so many years. All that I've met from Dota. It's just that my ambitions and my perfectionism, my competitive attitude went to extreme levels. And I won't say that I pushed them away. Ultimately, life kind of just took its toll, you know? Like, some people had to, like, one of my best friends, I consider him a best friend. I don't talk to him that much, unfortunately, but because he's from Malaysia. He moved to the States to pursue a degree in the United States, but he also wanted to play Dota professionally, just like me at the time. He went back to Malaysia a couple years back to help with his family business, and I haven't spoken to him much in a while, but he's doing so well. Like, he opened a burger restaurant. Now he has like 5 stores in like Malaysia from his burger restaurant, and I think they opened up a 5th or 6th one like recently, like a couple months ago. And now, like this summer, he's coming over to the States to open up a United States, an American version of his restaurant. Like that's fucking awesome. But like, it's just great to see how like they've been doing. But you know, like I said before, life kind of takes its toll. You know, life basically just happens, and you can't really control it. You can't really stop it. You know, I met a lot of good people online, but the competitive attitude and like my mentality just basically made whatever I did toxic. And that's what happened to streaming, and I was so fucking angry that I allowed that to happen. It used to be, like I said before, I just did it for fun. I did it casually. Eventually, it's like you taste success and then you start wanting more. When I first started streaming, FGO, Fate Grand Order, mobile game, it was a very niche community. It was very small. Not a lot of streamers were, it didn't have a lot of people playing, nor did it have a lot of people kind of, it wasn't as popular as it is now, a couple years ago. So I got lucky in the sense that I was one of the very, like, I guess the very, like, alpha, beta, like, people to kind of set the tone. Even though I wasn't, even if most people don't remember me, like, I had a pretty decent following, I would like to say. I used to just stream Dota periodically to, like, no one. But then, as soon as my first stream on that channel playing FGO, I had, like, instantly, like, 20 plus people. And was pretty fucking wild because, like, my stream was so fucking bad too. Like all I had was just the game screen just taking up full. Uh, I didn't have chat open. Or available on the screen. I didn't have a webcam. I didn't have a mic, and all I was doing was playing FGO. And some people came in, and I just started talking. They asked me some questions, and then I just started typing. And eventually, more and more came in, and then eventually, I had 20 plus people just watching me on my first day, and I only streamed for an hour. I gained like a ton of followers too that day. And that I think that felt good. Because back then in 2017, I started streaming in August of 2017. That was around the time where I actually just moved down to from North Carolina to South Carolina. So I basically knew no one. I gave up 20 plus years of my life from North Carolina to start a new life. And there was an adjustment period, and I was lonely, and I was dealing through a lot. Dota wasn't really working out, and so I kind of escaped to FGO for the most part, and FGO was very very good because I really got into the anime Fate Stay Night. The game is based off Fate Stay Night, but it's like it expands on it, I guess. But I really liked that, and then I felt like again I was isolated because no one else really liked Fate Stay Night as much as I did in my friend group, IRL friend group. Even Dota friend group. So I realized that my tastes and my interests were shifting, and eventually I just kind of took a chance and I just kind of stuck with streaming. I got more invested into it, and then I started making things a little bit more professional like. As you can see from I actually have my I'm actually using my idle page for this video. I just actually realized that now. But this is kind of like my idle page layout. So when I'm not like doing anything or kind of just figuring out what we're gonna do next on stream, this is what I would go to. And like that little square on the side right next to me would be where chat goes. So when you type, it would just pop up and stuff like that. But as you can see, I put a lot more time into it, and I think that that ultimately made me feel like I could do something, right? Like I was doing something with my life, and it only got better. Like I made a ton of friends in FGO. Some people that I like talk to today, which is pretty amazing. Not as much, but still, like it's still pretty amazing that I'm still able to be friends with so many people from this community. Whether it be on Twitch or Twitter or vice versa. As soon as I started gaining a following of again like 10, 15 plus people, I would say average at the time. I started making a Discord server, then a bunch of people started joining, and then we were just having a good time, just talking. And this is where it got bad, is when some of my regrets started kicking in now, just now. FGO was rising in popularity, but I was eventually, after like a year or so, I got so really bored with the game. The gameplay, it's a mobile game, number one, so it's not supposed to, for the most part, it's supposed to provide you with like a bit of entertainment, but it's not fully immersive as like say Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, where you play as this character, it's open world, you have a ton of stuff that you need to explore and do and all that other shit. It's supposed to be really, really simple, and you just kind of grind and farm. And it was fun because, the people made it fun. But eventually I started getting really tired of it because basically I would just, when you do something almost daily for hours and hours, like eventually with no variation, like I didn't play any other game except for Fate Grand Order. Like you start getting burnt out And I think that goes for a lot of things outside of games. If you do your job every single day and you don't take vacations or don't have other hobbies and you just do work, like, you're going to get fucking burnout and then you're going to be miserable and you're going to hate it. I didn't have balance and I didn't have variation. I didn't have, like, any other hobbies aside from Fate Grand Order and streaming. And, you know, like, I got burnt out. And then I switched games. And I think that was the first taste of me realizing that, you know, like, this is what it takes. This is what happens when, you know, if you try to make something out of, like, streaming or making YouTube videos or something. You start worrying about the statistics. I switched to another game, Grand Blue Fantasy, which is, and even for some fucking reason, I went from a grind heavy game to an even more grind heavy game, but I found it more fun and something more entertaining to do, because there was a lot more things to do compared to FGO. My viewer base tanked, and I think that was where my trouble started to begin. If I just stuck with FGO and just kind of kept on doing it, honestly, like, I think I would have been partnered. I think I would have been partnered on Twitch because, like, I was doing really fucking well for myself. I was almost getting to the viewer count needed to become a partner, which is 75 plus. I was averaging around like 30 or 40 people. I was getting there, and I threw that all away because I don't know, I just had this blind faith that, you know, like, oh, people will just, like, people are watching it for me. They're not watching it because of the game I play. Turns out that they were watching it for the game I play. I was just kind of there. I was, like, probably one of the very few that spoke English at the time that played the game, and I guess my personality was decent enough for people to stay. But that was the first reality of my viewer base tanking. Like, a lot of my old regulars stopped coming and they started going to other streams because I wasn't playing the game that I was originally playing. And I think that's when I realized that that's, now looking back, this life ain't for me. At least that's what I think right now. I let every little minor thing when it came to streaming get to me from then on out. I rebranded. I used to be called just Emiya, and then I became Raze. I rebranded, and I made several announcements on social media, several announcements on Discord, several announcements on stream, and people still unfollowed me because they didn't know who the fuck I was. And I'm still suffering for that today. I have had people come in now, and I've changed my name for well over a year, but they come in now and they're just like, holy shit, like, I didn't know you changed your name. I'm just like, yeah, I made an announcement like a long time ago. And, you know, of course, I hope I'm not coming off as like I'm blaming my viewers, obviously. My viewers and even the people who support me now, like, they will always hold a special place in my heart. They always will, no matter what they do. Just because they helped me in so many ways that if I didn't start streaming, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'm being dead serious. I was in a very dark spot, and basically I was just clinging to the tiny string of fate of maybe Dota will actually work out. Maybe I could go pro in Dota as a fucking legend. By the way, legend is like a average, below average rank. but I thought I had the skill to make it. And because how depression works, I didn't do anything about it. I didn't work towards it. I didn't solo queue. I said I was gonna do it, and I didn't do it. Bottom line, like, honestly speaking, I did not put the time and effort to try to make it work, and I got more frustrated that it's not working, and I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. I'm like, how is this not working? Like, we're practicing every day. I wasn't going further and beyond to make up for my lack of skill to get better. So if I didn't have streaming and I didn't have the people talking to me, I would probably be dead. I was going through suicidal thoughts at that time in 2017. It was not good. My friends that I've originally made a Dota team with, we were all talking and they were voicing concern because I was acting very I was acting very uncharacteristic like from how they met me, and I eventually bursted out into tears saying that just like I can't live this way. I want to die. That's basically what I said. I said I want to kill myself because I just can't deal with my inner demons. And that still shakes me to my very core to this day when I say that. But just imagine how it feels when like someone that you made a close bond to on the internet, and you can't it's very hard to do anything about it. I put so much unnecessary stress on them at the time, and like they couldn't do anything about it. They really couldn't because they didn't know. I didn't tell them my personal information about where I lived or like what my phone number is or whatever. Like they couldn't help me. They couldn't like, what if I actually did something the night that I did that or proclaim those words? They didn't know what to do. They couldn't just say like, hey, 911, like my friend's about to commit suicide or having suicidal thoughts. They'll ask what his location is. He's like, he's somewhere in South Carolina. Like, that's not going to help. Like, I didn't tell anyone. But anyways, streaming in my community has been very good. Of course, for the most part, it has been good. But there also has been bad things that happened as well that I went over with girl trouble and all that other shit. But I don't want to come off as I'm blaming my community for having a lack of interest in what I'm doing, because ultimately it's my fault that I'm not entertaining enough. It's my fault that I'm not retaining those viewers. For the past 3 weeks, maybe since December, so more than 2 to 3 weeks. So maybe like almost 2 months. I've always had that question whenever I start stream and whenever I end stream, is this still worth doing? Is streaming still worth doing? Because I'm worried about who's showing up and who's not showing up. I'm worried about how my statistics were compared to last stream. I'm worried about what are my other friends streaming and how many viewers do they have. I think that I've been dabbling with the idea that maybe I should quit. Maybe I should keep on doing it. Maybe I should just take a little bit of a break and then come back again. But the thing is that like I already took several breaks this past year trying to work on this. Eventually I just said fuck it, like I can't that compare, and also with the fact that, you know, the advice thing that I talked about in the beginning of this video, I just said fuck it. I can't do this. Nothing has to give. I am suffering every day recently because of what other people say, because of how I'm thinking is doing more harm than good at this point. All good things must come to an end. And just one day during school, like even during school, I was having like these thoughts saying like, hey, like, man, you gotta like worried about like today's stream or whatever. I just said fuck it. I just made an announcement. I said, hey, indefinite hiatus. I don't know when I'm gonna return. There's gonna be a chance that I will not return. It was a little bit cryptic. I will admit. And I guess it was kind of on purpose, kind of not on purpose. But at the same time, I did give people like some ground rules about why I'm quitting. I didn't just say, hey, I'm quitting, bye. I said that, you know, like, one, it's affecting my mental health. My mental health is deteriorating, and I am prioritizing that. Number one, I made a goal for 2020, and my number one goal was to make sure that I was in a better spot mentally than I was last year. And last year, I kind of ended it off good, though I had some bumps. But I wanted to try to make this year relatively good. Last year was kind of relatively bad, and it got better. But I want it to start good and end good, and in the middle good. And so far, I failed the start good part. But you know, like, you know, nobody's fucking perfect. If we were, we'd be robots. But I said, hey, this is affecting my mental health. Number one, and I'm prioritizing that. Two, I assured them that it wasn't them. Because, you know, I kind of had expressed my thoughts about how my channel is doing. But I assured them that they're not at fault. It's all 100% me. Three, I thank them for everything, because, like I said before, I would be potentially not come back, and that still holds true. I do see my therapist on the 3rd, I think, first week of February. I said I do see my therapist, and that's gonna be what I'm gonna talk about with him. And, you know, I'm not gonna expect an answer that session, but like, I want to be talking about that, and I hopefully come up with a plan in the next couple months, maybe a couple weeks or whatever, about what my final decision should be. So I wanted to be open, saying that like there's a chance I can come back, but I also wanted to let them be aware that like, hey, there's a chance I'm not gonna come back. And that's something that you guys just have to accept. And then, most importantly, whenever I said that I would take hiatuses, breaks or whatever, I would give them a time frame of like maybe 1 to 2 weeks to kind of get my shit situated. That wasn't enough time. And I ended up taking like multitude of 1 to 2 week breaks throughout the entire year. This time, the key word is indefinite. And that means that I don't have a planned date of when I'm coming back. For now, it's just going to be indefinite, meaning that I'm just going to be on a hiatus until I say so. There's no time frame. I didn't say like I'll be back within 2 weeks. I'll be back within a month. No, I said indefinite. So I'm taking all the fucking time I need to get my shit together. Because honestly, I think deep down, I still love streaming. That much is for certain. Because like, if I didn't care about streaming, I would have deleted my Discord server, or I just would have went off the grid and not tell anyone. But the fact that like I felt like I owed it to them, and the fact that I I still have a passion for it. Um, says a lot, even though like it does a lot of strain on my mental health. But that's what I want to fix. That's what I want to work towards. I want to work towards uh, re-engineering my brain so that I'm not thinking about numbers. I'm not thinking about what other people are doing on Twitch, and I'm focusing on just me. I'm not focused on who's watching, how many people are watching, uh, or whatever the fuck I was worried about. I'm basically just going to try to go back to square one, in which, you know, I just did it for fun, and I did it because, one, I was bored, but two, I just wanted to talk to people. As you get older, it becomes a lot harder because um people have graduated college and now they're doing full-time jobs. Other people are starting college, so they're not going to be as available as they were in high school and stuff. People are going to always progress, and I shouldn't have had that expectation of, hey, things are going to stay the same. Because, and here's a real life lesson: nothing's going to stay the same. Time always keeps on moving forward, and that some guy who says that like he doesn't go out of the house and he always will watch your stream will one day decide to like, hey, I want to go out and do stuff. You know what he did? He went out and did stuff, and I can't fault him for doing that. If he wanted to go out, he wanted to go out. Like, it's just that simple. I can't just be like, hey, why'd you go out? I don't think I was ever mad at like, hey, like, why weren't you in my stream or whatever. I was more so kind of, I guess, depressed that I wasn't interesting enough to just say hi, just be said hi. But yeah, I decided to take an indefinite hiatus. So I kind of quit, kind of haven't. I want to be focusing on other things. I thought I would be really depressed, and I kind of was when I quit. I was just like, damn, I felt like I left like a lot of people down. And then after seeing all the support, from some people saying like, hey, like, we understand, man, get better soon. We'll be here. Like, even if you won't like come back, like I said I would be in Discord and I'm talking to them on Discord. I'm just not streaming. And I even said like, you know what? I understand that if you want to leave, you can leave. But it won't change the fact that I'm taking this break. Sort of like saying that just like, hey, like, anyone who just like was watching me for the game that I would play, like, you're free to leave. But anyone who cares about who watches it for me, like, I hope you stay. Kind of deal. And I eventually found the people who were there for me, which is always a good feeling. Wasn't there for what kind of giveaways I may have not done, or wasn't there for just what kind of game I played or whatever. Like, they were there for me. They come to my streams because they want to talk and like watch me be a fucking dumbass on the internet. But that being said, I'm not giving up on it just yet. I'm just kind of finding myself. I think it's okay. I think it's perfectly normal to just take a break and just kind of figure out like, or refigure out what brings you joy in life. And that's what I'm kind of doing right now. And I'm going to take all the time I need to figure out what I really enjoy. I tried a lot of different games. I tried talking to a lot of different people. Some success, some not. But like, I'm using this time to try to get to know myself a little better. I'm focusing more on IRL. What I've noticed is that I have become a recluse. A girl once told me that, or once said behind my back, actually, that I was a recluse who never went outside, and that I'm just a miserable sack of shit. essentially. Uh, and that hurt me a lot. I didn't think that was true. Now, that was like years ago, but now I realize that, hey, yeah, I'm a fucking recluse. I still go to school and work, and then just go home, stay home if I can. Um, and because I've become a recluse, that it was when I don't know how to socialize. Yeah. Uh, I don't know how to socialize with people because I've been inside. I don't go outside at all, so I don't know how to socialize with other people. That's just the bottom line. I don't know how the real world. I don't know how society works anymore, other than what goes on the internet, and that's a fucking problem. That's a big problem, by the way. Uh, a video that I watched, uh, talked about loneliness and how loneliness is it hit the nail on the coffin for me. It really hit close to home because what they were talking about loneliness, about how like the reason why we feel lonely is because we put up mental blocks that isolate ourselves from other people because we've been hurt previously in the past, from past social experiences. And in order for us to not get hurt, and the reason why we yearn for human interaction but don't do anything to result in human interaction is because we're defensive. It's our instinct. It's our survival instinct. You know, like humanity in general has survived for as long as it did is because of collaboration. Like, we had to work to get. That's how countries are formed. That's how societies are formed. Civilizations. Like, it's not just one person just saying, "Hey, I made the fucking like Byzantine Empire or whatever." No, like it was a group of people that came together and worked together to survive, and they eventually made a civilization. They made the Byzantine Empire, or they made the Ottoman Empire, or they made the United States. Like, it's a collection of people, and if you weren't part of that collection, you would die because you would have to, one, you would have to do it all by yourself, but two, like, some things back then and even now, like, you can't do everything. You have to kind of work together with people so that, like, you know, you hunting and gathering, for example. But you can't do everything. You can only do so much. That's why you have to rely on other people. But a survival instinct for us, like, whether or not we know how to avoid pain and whatnot, is mental stuff. And we create these walls and we isolate ourselves from other people because we don't want to get hurt. It's a survival instinct. We don't want to get hurt mentally. So whenever people invite us to go hang out, and I have been doing this for a very long time with my IRL friends, especially, is that, I'd be like, "Hey man, you want to hang out?" And I'd be like, "No." I always try to make up some excuse of not to go hang out. And eventually, the invites stop coming because you do it so often that they just kind of, it goes something like this: "Hey, I'm throwing a party together. Who should we invite? We should invite blah 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 blah. Oh, how about David? Oh no, let's not invite David. Wait, why not? I thought he was our friend. Yeah, but he doesn't come to these kinds of things. Every time I invite him, he doesn't. He just says no. So I already know what the answer is gonna be. So they don't invite you. Um, just for example, that's not really a specific example, but it kind of goes something like that. Like, maybe not to that degree, but I've been told by my friends, are like, "Hey, like, The reason why we stopped inviting you to things is because you always say no. And I realized that, like, oh shit, I have been saying no. Um, we isolate ourselves. But because I take it to a even further degree, in which I, for lack of a better term, almost, or I did develop slight incel type qualities that I'm trying to fight now. But my lack of talking to women has deeply affected my communication and my thinking of society. Now I have to go out and talk to a bunch of girls, and that's fucking hard because I'm a fucking train wreck when I talk to girls. But um, yeah, I became socially inept. I cannot hold a conversation with almost anyone, and I basically have to teach myself how to talk to other people. So that should be fun. The classes that I'm taking, some of them are computer science classes, others are gen ed classes. My gen ed classes, one of them is public speaking, and I'm actually looking forward to that class the most now because one, my classmates are very nice, but two, I'm hoping that if I do well in that class and I pay attention and just do the work and just participate, um, it'll help me relearn how to socialize with people. So most people in my class deem this class as a worthless class, but for me, I think it's one of the more important classes to take for me mentally because my biggest my biggest flaw that I have now is communication, talking with other people, especially talking to girls. Um, so now I'm going to try my best at that. But yeah, man, it's been very wild. Been a very wild month. Uh, some good things have happened. A lot of bad things have happened, but I think I'm getting back on track again. Um, I have a couple things that I want to try out in the future. One of them is being vlogging. I would like to do some vlogs sometime soon. Just what life is like. It's like on a regular school day or whatever. Um, Vlogging for the most part is very interesting because it feels like a lot of people when they do like a day in the life of this is like it's like they know that something one of their days is going to be really busy. Most vloggers are like that because that's how they get YouTube views. Is that like they just kind of make a YouTube video about a very interesting day in their life. And when you see like some vloggers don't really upload for quite a bit of time, they don't vlog every single day. Kind of vlog like maybe like every couple months or maybe once or twice a month. It's because to me at least, it always seems like they have something interesting on the times that they vlog. I'm gonna be a little bit different. I'm not gonna do vlogs every day, but I want to try to do weekly vlogs. I have school like 4 times a week, Monday through Thursday. So I wanna try to vlog a little bit. I'm still deciding. Um, but I wanna try to delve into YouTube a little bit more. Um, so I'm thinking about other things I want to do outside of streaming and gaming and school, of course. But this is the time for me to kind of get to know myself better, self reflect, but not harp on my self reflection, and kind of be comfortable with myself, fix a couple things that I know that isn't good, and kind of just know myself better, for lack of better sense. Um, taking this break off streaming is helping a lot, and hopefully I will return back to streaming. But like I said, if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. But I will definitely be working hard to kind of try to make a comeback. But I won't be trying to rush it. I want it to happen naturally. So that may take like maybe a couple months. It might even be towards the end of this year. Who fucking knows? But I'm not gonna say I need to get back within a month. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna need to get back within a week. I'm just gonna take it easy. I do my thing. But I think that's how I want to end this video now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below on again how your day is going. Of course, I always would like to know how you guys are doing. If you have any other experiences, or just leave a comment about anything, really. I always read the comments if there are any comments. I always appreciate you guys kind of talking and interacting with me. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much, guys. Peace.